What's up, guys? I'm Railroad Preserver 2000 here, and I'm back again doing another video here. And in this video, we're going to be doing some gold mining, literally.
Hey, everybody have one of these earplugs? You don't have to put them in right now.
Yeah, there's the mine adit there. That's what that's called, right? The adit instead of a mine.
This is called a portal. The entrance is a portal. Okay? I'll tell you all about the story, but then you come out.
Oh, I was going to say, was this probably a dynamite storage locker or generators now?
Pardon?
Right here.
That's an electric shop.
Oh.
That's where our electricity is.
Well, I know that, but before that, was it like a dynamite storage locker?
Probably, yeah.
Hopefully there's no dynamite left in
Where have
there.
you mined before?
Dahlonega, Georgia. We just went up there to get a little bit of gold.
Oh, that's a good area.
Didn't get much gold, though.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're heading in. Elevator, you coming or what?
Ready? Okay, come on up here, guys.
Okay, guys, look at this. Old mining equipment forever.
Look at that board before you walk in here. You can get out of the rain.
Oh, the miner's tags. That's what they use to keep track of them.
But that board is out there on every mine throughout Alaska. It's called the brass board. When you're hired, you're given a number, and that number there on this brass board is your number for the duration of your mining career.
Whoa.
So you have one when you're hired,
Core card
and
tracks.
you don't have one when you're fired.
Oh, look, it's narrow gauge.
So come on in. Come on in, guys. So that brass board is really important.
Ventilation tubing,
And
drill
when you
bits,
come into the mine, you have the brass end,
pipes,
in and
ventilation.
out section. And when you're coming to work,
Little
you
old
brass
lights.
in. When you're done for the day, you brass out. Okay, let me see.
You wouldn't have.
Oh, that brass board. If there is a case of emergency or they have to evacuate the mine, then everybody has to come back out of the mine and brass back out. They wait out there because you're working 12-hour days. So after they get everything done on the ground, they're supposed to, then we come back and we brass back in and we come back in to work, okay? Now let's say that maybe 2 or 3 people are still brassed in. There's a problem there. They're not out. They should have been out. So what do? We send in our mine rescue team. The mine rescue team will go ahead and go in and locate these people. Then they'll call my shop out here and say, hey, John, we found them guys. So everything's cool. They come back in after everything's cleared out in the mine, it's safe again, and everybody has to brass back in. So it's really important that we brass in and out. Okay? All right, come on this way. You guys don't have lights. I'd rather just keep you guys in the dark. Better that way.
You still use the ore carts I see on the tracks up ahead of us?
Yeah. Okay, we're going to go from right here. They call this here entrance right here the portal. We have 2 of them, one on each end of this mine. We have one right here, and we also have one located in town. So all this here this mountain right here that you guys are parked next to downtown, it's all mined out. And all the gold taken out of it. And that's what we did. Now we have modern day equipment. We're going to be bouncing back and forth to the 1800s all the way up to the present day. So you'll hear me bouncing back and forth in the years to compare the equipment that we used to use a long time ago. So come on in. What we have on this side as you're coming in, on the left side is all these utilities. Utilities have to come up and be put in as we move along because all this here utilities consist of water and air. A very important that we have water and air when we work in the mine. The reason we need the air is because when we blow up around, then we have to blow all that dust and smoke out so we don't develop black lung. And the water is to knock down the rest of the dust, also to keep the equipment cool so they don't overheat. Okay? Come on in. What we have here is 18 foot high. They get as high as 18 feet high, 12 feet wide, these tunnels. Modern day equipment can do that nowadays. It took 2 years just to mine from this portal. We're going to go all the way up to that lower light right there. And that's as far as this tunnel will go. Okay? So what we call this here in the tunnel, we call this here the back. The ceiling's the back. At home it's a ceiling. Over here on the sides, that'll be your wall, but we call them the ribs, the miners. And then down here on the floor, that's called a whale's belly. I don't know what that has to do with mining at all, but that's what they came up with.
This way out, literally.
Now we come in here, and the first thing we do on the right side as you're coming in, we'll blow out a tunnel right here, and then we'll install a mine phone. A mine phone is what we have all throughout the mine. We have hundreds and hundreds of mine phones like this. And in case we have, they need to get a hold of me out there in the shop, a mechanic or an electrician or whoever, they'll call me up. And I just relay that onto the person.
Hello.
We also have a facility like this. It's blown out. We use timber underground, and we cut a timber frame. This is called a miner's throne. And what happens is that we have these facilities all throughout the mine. And what we do is we have a sanitation engineer come in. We have the empty box on the bottom. When that's full, they take it out and burn it up. So we have engineers for everything underground.
It's like the miner's outhouse.
Yeah, yeah. So we're coming up this way.
Oh. Are they ore cart tracks? Are they 3-foot gauge?
Right. This is what we have here on the left side of as you're walking up. We have all these railroad tracks. In this mine back in the early 1900s, they started using railroad tracks because there was so much tunneling under here. And that's the only way they got around in the early years.
Cribbing, I suppose.
They also cut all these timbers from down below. That's where they built a mill. And they used the rough timbers for support on the ground.
Utilities car.
Right here we have what we call a sump. It's made out of timber. It has cement seal all the way around. And we need that water. So this is going to be a water reserve for us. Anytime we need water, we'll take this pump, and that'll pump it out up from out there in the entrance, that little creek on the side, on the left side. That'll fill up this, and then we have our reserve water for this.
Is it full right now, or is it empty?
No, everything's empty right now. They shut this mine down in 1980.
Wow, so we managed to stay open for 2 years before the White Pass and Yukon route closed. It closed in 1982.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm surprised they left all the equipment where it's at. Old ore cars and the type of locomotive used to haul them out.
Oh, yeah?
I noticed the narrow gauge steam locomotive at the bottom of the hill for the mine.
All right here's our first stop. We have a 2-ton locomotive. It's full of bank batteries in there. And the electrician uses this, pulls it around with the mule, gets the job done where they need to have it done, and moves on to a different project. So back in the late 1800s,
Cribbing.
all the miners had a job to do. This particular miner right here, his job was to cut all the timber that they need for supporting the mine. And they also cut the timber to use it to cross-piece the railroad track as they come in. Back in the late 1800s, That's all they ever used was this here bow saw. And that person would sit there all day long, take orders, and saw away. And then 1930s came along. They invented one of these here chainsaws. It runs on air. You can't have any equipment underground back in the early years because of the toxic. So what happened is that they invented this here chainsaw and made it a whole lot easier than cutting down. You know how much you're making back in that time?
Only a few cents an hour.
This is in the late 1800s, just when they start developing the tunnel.
Ore chute and the ore
They're
cart.
paid $1 an hour. They work 8-hour shifts, and that was $8.
Wow.
The company will take $1 out of their paycheck, and that'll cover their room and board for a month. It'll also give them 4 square meals a day, and they gave them recreation time. Now, families were coming up here to live. They had little sheds that the people lived in that were working on the ground. So everybody was covered. And as we come along this way, we're coming up here on this here stove. This stove right here goes up 150 to 200 feet above us. Now that's where the other level is. This here is called a level, this tunnel. And we have 12 of these levels all throughout this mountain, all the way down below sea level. So what they do is they take all the ore rocks that aren't big, dump it down this chute, and then two miners come right here. They put a cheater bar on this here handle, and they up and down fill up these ore carts. These ore carts will then take it down to the portal and down a conveying belt to the mill to be processed.
Does that ore chute still work?
Pardon?
Does that ore chute still work?
No.
Oh.
No.
Ah,
So when we're looking for gold, this is what we're looking for.
pure quartz crystal.
This is what we're looking for. Quartz rock. All this white rock. Wherever we find this white rock, there's the gold. So that's what we're looking for here in this mine. So this here rock might have some gold in there yet. Back in the early 1900s, they didn't have the technology to take out all the gold. So they just took out what they could, and the rest was called waste rock or tailings. And they'll take them and they'll dump them over in the channel that you guys came up on. We put a nice sandy beach on the Douglas side on the other island on the left side as you guys were coming in. So, and then this is the other kind of rock that we mine here in this mountain. It's called greenstone rock. This also has the gold in there. The only way they could extract it now is probably using the modern day equipment. Back then they only used sluice boxes. But now they have all these other materials that they use to extract all the gold. What's in this rock here, you can't see it, all that gold. But what it's called is microscopic gold. You can't see it, but it's in there. The only way they could take it out is the modern day way of doing it now. So we come up this way. Come on up here. Here's a big old area you could stand in. And
Look at the huge metal plate.
this is where this here tunnel ends. Right here.
Is that a tunnel boring machine?
Pardon?
Is that a tunnel boring machine?
Yeah, that's a rock eater. Loves to eat rocks. So what happened is that when they finally tunneled right to here, they put up this here big machine. It's called Big Red to the miners. So they say go down to Big Red, they know where to go. And it's a rock eater. We have 2 conveying belts up there, one on each side. And what they do is they drop all these big boulders down here using these conveying belts so they'll vein up everything. And then this here rock eater will chew it all up and then make it into a nice sand and little rocks. What we came up on right here in this walkway, that used to be a conveying belt. So all this rock, after it was chewed up, would go on this conveying belt all the way down to the mill to be processed. This conveying belt also generated the electricity for electricians' machines on the ground, so it always ran 24 hours a day. And it also generated this here fan. This fan is only an 8-horse fan. And what it does, what it's used for, is that we put yellow bag covers all the way around on one side of this here fan, and it goes all the way around to my work area where I'm working, so it'll blow out all that dust and air, or dust and smoke. So this is only an 8-horse fan. Nowadays they use 450 horse fans.
Does that one still work?
This one still, I'm going to turn it on. It's not going to be very loud. I'll just put it on long enough to show you how the bag pumps up fast, and I'll shut her down.
That's incredible. I think it's been in here for like since 1980 and it still works.
Yeah.
Of course, then again, it was probably made in America, so that's probably why.
Yeah. And 2 of them 450 horse fans are equivalent to one of those jet engines, turbojet engines you guys fly around in. So what I want to do is turn this fan on, and I'll shut her down. It's not going to be very loud, just to show you that how it fills up as part of the tour. So I come in here. The only time I shut this fan off, it's running 24 hours a day. The only time I shut this fan off is when I'm going to blow up my section of ground over here. So all the rocks don't go inside that tube and rip it apart. So what I do is I turn this on, and you can see how fast it'll fill up this bag. When this thing's whining wide open, it'll blow out more air, make it a lot cleaner. But nowadays, it's a lot different. With the same setup, we only use a bigger fan. Okay. I have an office right around the corner over here, and that's where I want to put you guys. What it's like to work in the work area.
Excuse me, sorry. I can't see.
They have to do 12 hours a day. And they do this 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. The only time they have off is Christmas and 4th of July.
Wow.
Other than that, you're working every day. Get that rock out.
I wonder.
So as we go along, this is the early 1900s. Both state and federal law said you guys need to be more safe. This is a dangerous job. So what they started to do was first aid. They came and they started making all these here out of stretchers out of chicken wire. They'll leave a wool blanket with a sheet of visqueen there. That visqueen's used to, because we tunnel along, we hit some water pockets, and then they end up dripping all day long, so that'll cover them.
Like right now, what I'm hearing?
Pardon?
Like what I'm hearing right now behind you, probably?
Yeah. And what happens nowadays, this here tunnel's big enough and wide enough, we bring ambulance trucks in now. All the mines up here have ambulance trucks. So now, safety is the biggest thing first in underground mining. So as we move along in the years, we develop better and safer equipment. Come on in.
It's like famous last words. We're gonna get that
I'm a
going.
geologist. What we have sometimes in most mines, we have 150 people coming in and out of this tunnel every day. And my job is to make sure everybody's safe. I don't want to have somebody call and say, hey, you didn't do your job. I'll end up losing my job. So what I have to do is do it right the first time and move on. So I mentioned earlier over at the stove, you saw all of this here quartz rock was. All this gold is right in here in this quartz rock. And this one here, I haven't seen any gold flakes or anything.
What's the red?
But it does have that microscopic gold in there. because they didn't have the technology to mine out all the gold. So what they did, because we have a mother lode I'm heading for, I'd rather get that mother lode out first. And then I'll come back and develop this
What's the
into a tunnel. This is all quartz rock.
What's the
That's
rate
just
of
a paint.
Oh.
So,
My
but
bad.
come on into my office.
Do you actually still mine in this section of the mine?
Pardon?
Do you actually still mine in this section?
No, they shut this mine down a long time ago.
Oh.
You guys can come up here on,
Ah.
sorry I'm hollering, I just can't hear very
Camera's gonna
good.
get
But
wet.
you guys could come up here on this platform and you'll probably see a lot better and maybe read
Explosives keep away.
No, this is where I work. This is what I do all day long, 12 hours a day.
Oh, I don't have my earplugs.
You don't have earplugs?
Well, my grandmother has them, but I don't know where she is. Thank you, Oliver. Tell me where you are. Where'd you put them?
All right, so I'll let you know when I'll get them put on the earplugs right here,
I
okay?
can't get them moved.
This is my work area. What it consists of is this here box. That's called a powder mag. So what I have is my dynamite box here with all the dynamite. Right here is my working area where I piece all the dynamite together. And over here on this section I have all the fuses. I cut them 2.5 to 3 feet long. Nowadays they have to use 6 feet by law. If you look at this picture right here, you'll see that this here man is working in this work area, just like that box right here. So I called him up, said, "Hey Joe, you need to." What time did I give you? 3 foot. That was every foot was a minute. So this guy here, I call him up, said, "Hey Joe, we got a big boulder stuck up there in that big red. Blow it out." So that's his job. Remember I mentioned everybody was getting $1, $8 a day? These guys were paid $9. They got an extra $1 because these guys here are certified demolition miners. So they know how to work with dynamite. And they know what to do. It don't take them forever to go up there and blow that rock out and move on. We have to move on as quick and as safe as possible. So what happens is, here, Joe here, he comes down and he says, "Okay, I have to wire up all my dynamite sticks together." And right here, after he's done putting them together, he'll get on this here railroad cart and that'll take him up to the job site to where he needs to have his work done. So he's driving up there. He gets up there and right here he looks at where he's going to put that dynamite powder. But this guy here, he took off his lamp. Because back in that time, in the early 1900s, they didn't have these fancy gadgets like this. They used, what they had was a little canister and it had a wick on the end right here.
Carbine.
Just before you go to work, everybody fills up their oil lamp, canister, and they go to work. That's how they work. And this guy here, he took his light off his hat.